Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the Big Spicy Meatball Man guide. Ashen Lord guide. It just doesn't have the same ring. Welcome everyone back to another Sea of Thieves guide, where today we will be looking at how to defeat an Ashen Lord both solo and as a team. The strategies are different for both, and if you want to get the brand new Scorched Forsaken Ashes cosmetics, this will definitely help you out. So without further ado, let's begin. Also, I added chapters for your convenience. You're welcome. First, let's take a look at what Ashen Lords actually are and do. In reality, they're just flaming bullet sponges. I recommend using a sword for mobility and a medium or long-ranged weapon to fight the Ashen Lord. When it's distracted, use a sword. When it's attacking, back up and use a gun. An Ashen Lord can be broken up into 3 time periods or levels, with each becoming harder. In the first level, the Ashen Lord will repeatedly taunt you. They will summon low levels of skeletons and use weaker attacks like a slap, a lunge, vertical and horizontal rock hurls, and the infamous soot cloud, which they apparently squeeze out of their backs? What? Anyway, if you learn to anticipate these attacks, you should be fine. When the Ashen Lord has lost a good chunk of its health, it will start asking for help and will be completely vulnerable. Use this time to deal as much damage as possible. When it gets up, the second phase will begin. Here, the Ashen Lord will be more aggressive and will start yelling things in an increasingly annoyed way. Here is also where it will start to use the deadly shockwave attack, which can literally hit you on the other side of the island. Definitely learn the cues that the boss is going to do this and run away as fast as you can. Same as before, cut it when it's distracted, like when summoning skeletons, and use weapons otherwise. There should be an ammo crate and plenty of food barrels on your island, so note their locations. When the second phase is complete, it will go through another vulnerable period, which is when it's time for you to go full Sword Lord. In the last phase, the Ashen Lord will become increasingly desperate to kill you and will start using the volcano, storm, lava, rain thing. Basically, it will put its hand on the ground and geysers will open up around you and giant meteors will fall from the sky. If you can find a cave, definitely run in. Also, don't think about waiting in the water, cause it will start to boil. And this is also why you should park your ship at a safe distance from the island. Keep fighting the Ashen Lord until it dies, and you will be presented with piles of loot and a guaranteed Chest of Rage and Ashen Windskull. The Chest of Rage explodes in fire every minute or so unless it is splashed with water, and the Ashen Windskull can be used as a flamethrower. Using its fuel will depreciate its value though, so be smart with it. That is the basic way an Ashen Lord works. To avoid most attacks, be constantly moving and jumping, and a good understanding of the sword is helpful as well. If you know your surroundings and are careful, you should be able to even solo an Ashen Lord without dying once. I did it today. Also, you can use kegs that often spawn on the island to deal large amounts of damage, and tridents are extremely effective against an Ashen Lord, especially the big bubbles, which disintegrate any skellies around it as well. If you stop by an ocean treasury and grab some tridents from down there before doing an Ashen Lord, you can make your life a whole lot easier. Alright, now for strategy. First, you will need to look for a big fiery tornado. Pretty hard to miss. If you don't see one, you can wait for a change in the current world event, or you can server hop to hopefully save some time. Once you found one, sail over to the island, which will always be a large one. For parking, if you're solo, I would park a good ways from the island, but not so far that you can't easily get back to your ship. Behind a rock or next to some smaller islands is a good idea. Here, I parked far, but in a way that I could get back with a couple sword lunges. If you're in a group, park within cannon range of the island so you can shoot the Ashen Lord if you lure onto the beach, which is what I recommend doing. Grab some food, supplies, a bucket full of water, any ammo crates, kegs, or tridents you may have brought, and hop over. Solo strategy. As a solo player, Ashen Lords will take much longer. You can't use the cannon approach I recommend for a group because Ashen Lord will target your ship and really turn up the heat. You'll have to just do what I mentioned before, be constantly moving, know your surroundings, and use them to your advantage. For example, hiding behind a tree can block incoming projectiles, and hiding in a cave can save you from a firestorm. Switch between cutlass and pistol, or sniper, or I guess you could use blunderbuss, but I would take a short range and long range weapon, depending on what the Ashen Lord is doing. If it's busy summoning skellies, or just did a lunge and failed, use the time to get up close and personal. If it starts slapping and doing shockwaves, back off and use a gun. Just keep doing this until it dies. Group strategy. This is the same as the solo strategy, but with a few added elements. First, you're in a group, so revive your friends and help each other out to kill the thing more efficiently. If you all fire from a different direction, the Ashen Lord can't hit you all at once. Now, the cannon strategy is optional. Some YouTubers say that using ship cannons is a waste of ammo, and with a large crew, it probably is better to just conserve your cannonballs and do all the fighting up close. But if you're in a time crunch or part of a smaller crew, the cannon strat can be very helpful. Keep in mind that to kill the Ashen Lord, it will take anywhere up to about 100 cannonballs cannonballs depending on how much damage you've already done on the island. If you need supplies, I would buy a cannonball crate from an outpost. Next, have one crew member distract the Ashen Lord on the island's beach at all times. If they die, immediately have someone else cannon over to take their place, or the Ashen Lord will target your ship, and like I've said before, it gets nasty. Taking turns distracting the Ashen Lord and luring it to a beach while the other crew members fire cannons will let you take it down very fast, assuming you have good aim and hit most of your shots. Anyway, those are really all the tips I can give. Fighting an Ashen Lord, especially soloing it, can be quite difficult if you're inexperienced or don't understand it well. Take time to practice, and don't get discouraged if you die a lot. But hopefully this guide helped you out. If it did, please consider liking and subscribing. It's free and you can undo it at any time. And with that said, happy sailing.